the newest Line War tournament. This is the second match that's been available. First was between Animorph and Useless. I don't know if I'm gonna actually cast that one. I watched it. Not sure if I'm gonna cast it. But here we have Samz in blue and Barracuda in red. I don't know Samz, but I know Barracuda. Very strong player. He made a pretty good run in the previous tournament, getting to, I think he was knocked out in the third round of the elimination stage. Made it out of he made it out of the group stage and was in the winners bracket, and then won his first match in winners. Lost to Welcome To, who went on to get second place, so No Shame was in there, and then went down to losers, and I think he went down 2-1 to Archer, who is not in this tournament. But I've been watching quite a bit of Barracuda in the time since the previous tournament. Super strong player. I think he'll make another good run. I don't really see him being there at the end and slugging it out for the win, but a good player, and I expect to see a lot of good games from him in this tournament. Let's see how he does against Samz. Again, this is a player that I haven't seen before. I've not seen any of his replays, so he's an unknown, but I'm favoring Barracuda again because I know, I've seen him and I know that he's a good player. Let's take a look at the map before we actually get into pick phase. Quite a bit of energy I'm seeing, and it's kind of spread out into these different clusters, so that could come into play. We have a single kind of continent map, two big lakes here, or a few big lakes actually. I thought this was open up here, but it's not. So lots of water to work with, so that's going to, of course, allow for Navy, but it also provides some more options. It provides a little bit more flexibility to use aircraft. Don't see any trade routes. Yeah, not one there. And let's see, what's going to be the most important pull? So it looks like this southeastern quadrant is going to be like this is the best territory, I think. So whichever player is able to really secure a good foothold there and extract and develop these eco sites, I think they will have the advantage overall. So let's get into pick phase and let this run. I'm still working on trying to decide if I want to do the map analysis while pick phase is going on, or if I want to wait. Because sometimes pick phase goes really fast, sometimes it goes slow, and if it goes really fast, I won't even have time to talk about the players of the map at all. But if it goes slow, then I've already done all the things that I want to talk about, and then we sit here and stare at each other awkwardly. Samz is quick to put down his first zone of interest. I think it's a pretty good one. Again, he's targeting that southeastern quadrant here, which is going to be I think this is going to be like the key to success here, is being able to hold on to this territory and build up these eco sites. Barracuda chooses in that area as well, and it kind of breaks up in a way that's not really advantageous for either player. Samz has territories on the inside, so that gives him some option to consolidate, which he does. He consolidates towards the center. And when I say consolidate, I just mean choosing a zone interest that's adjacent to territories already marked. So Samz consolidates towards the center. Barracuda is trying to get he's trying to position himself into the center. Nabs himself a city and a farm. And just so you know, I will be calling all industries farms except for ports. This is a rock farm, and wood farm, and then just a farm. Let's see. Oh, Barracuda already has his second zone, or his third pick, I guess. Going to consolidate in the southeastern corner. And worth noting, if Samz ends up picking out here a little bit further out, Samz splits on the defensive spot. So I think we're going to see Samz go right here, since he's putting down defensive zones of interest to kind of block off Barracuda to limit, since he's putting down zones of interest to limit Barracuda's pick options. This could end up being a really strong pick. It is back in a corner, which we don't like. That limits your ability to get out on the map. But with all this dead space between Barracuda's, like this start location, and wherever Sam is going to be able to start, a heavy eco start can be really powerful, because you're not going to need the early production to repel an early attack, or to fight for territory, or to like get out of your zone or your quadrant. So this start looks really powerful. This looks really strong for Barracuda. Samz is still, I was gonna say he is closer to the center, but that's not really true. Samz is kind of painting himself into the western side of the map, which is going to be a bit weaker overall. I gotta remember to fill up my water before I start these. Yeah, so we've got Samz picking up here, so if we see Barracuda go down here, could see a very greedy economic start, and that will put a lot of pressure on Samz. It'll be really tough for him to match Barracuda's economy if Barracuda starts with something like a 3-town opening. But the picks are in. The final countdown has begun in game 2 of the TV. Oh fuck, I forgot what the name of the tournament is. And I fucked it up. Anyway, moving on. Getting his lines down is Sam 1 town. I would like to see him throw down a bunch of barracks and just go really hard into expansion. 3 factory, also a really powerful start. Barracuda goes a little bit more balanced. Oh no, he does have the 3-town start. 3 towns, airport, barracks, and I don't see anything else. Okay, I heard another barracks I heard a barracks for Samz. 3 factory tank. Wasn't expecting a rush, given the distance between them, but there is a lot of flat terrain here. So this is really good. It's really good terrain for tanks. They're going to be able to Samz is really going to be able to abuse the mobility of tanks once he gets them out of the mountains. But yeah, in the field, like where they're actually going to be fighting, tanks are going to be very powerful. He does need to make sure that he gets these energy wells built up. It's good that he's got these 2 energy wells within his starting territory or close to. So that's going to allow him to keep these tanks moving. And most of Sam's forces are going into the middle. Does have a little bit peeled off to each side. Barracks looks like we'll be supporting each of these expansion efforts. Early income is 415 to 475. So not a massive advantage for Barracuda, but it is an advantage. Also building his farms right away. Wood farm will be completing shortly. I definitely like that he built the farms that he didn't use his pre-build to build farms. Farms build so fast, it seems like a waste to build farms. with pre-build. I think it'd be stronger to. I haven't tested, but I think it's stronger to go barracks and kind of increase the speed and coverage of your territory expansion than it is to pre-build the farm. Wait, how the hell did they get over there? Looks like they ran from their damage. So this is a really kind of veteran move by Barracuda to run some infantry out and just get a little bit more presence on the map. This will also give him energy too. So this, I bet that's what he was targeting since he's got this airport. Factory on the way. Second factory on the way to supplement his 2 barracks. So these factories are going to be very important in giving his army just a little bit more punch, a little bit more damage. And artillery also, especially if you've got them entrenched, excellent range, and a big ball of artillery is damn near unstoppable. It's about as close to unstoppable as you can get, realistically. I don't like that Samz didn't bring any infantry back to capture this zone and get his town, or this territory for this town. And he hasn't built his refineries yet either. Definitely want to get those up very quickly when you go with a 3 factory tank rush. Getting Samz out now. Samz are very good, and they will be quite useful in this match, given that Barracuda went with a pre-built airport. No, it wasn't pre-built. He did get the airport first, though, after getting his towns up. 629, 639 even, to 515. So like that's kind of the power of that 3-town start. Gave him a little bit of extra capital that he was able to put into these farms, which gave him even more economic growth. Allowed him to get down these 2 factories, and he should be militarily in a pretty good spot by the time that these forces run into each other. Samz has spotted Barracuda and already responded, bringing his infantry back, kind of regrouping them. Has the tank standing by. I think he actually ran out of energy. He's clean out of energy. But the first refinery will be finishing shortly. Barracuda also has his first refinery on the way. Has a barracks out here as well, so should see good expansion from Barracuda. And at this point, I think Barracuda is in a really good spot. So long as he's careful about not losing his early units. I would like to see one of these squads come back, because this is a fragile point for Barracuda. He's put a lot of money into infrastructure, into economy. So he hasn't been building as many units as Samz throughout the match, or up to this point. But Sam's going to be defensive here. I think Samz has not identified. I think Samz didn't identify that Barracuda had this 3-town start, and he's not testing it. Also, he went for a 3-factory tank rush and hasn't activated these tanks at all. Kind of has them standing by. Airport on the way. So the longer this goes on, the better it is for Barracuda. He's got 771 to 585. He's growing faster. His economy is stronger. And yeah, so the longer that this stalemate goes, or the longer that they go without actually engaging each other, the better it is for Barracuda. And just look at the difference in their territories. Like Barracuda's reaching up into this section here, and he's going to be able to cut off the west or the eastern expansion of Samz. And he's on top of his eco sites as well. I just heard a farm go down somewhere. Yeah, has a farm here that's already built, farm coming up right there. And yeah, this kind of slow play is definitely better for Barracuda. Really want to see Samz get these tanks involved. Has a line going through, and notice he's keeping it on the flat terrain, which is good. I would like to see him go ahead and haste these, but he would need a second refinery, I think, to haste these. Helicopters, it looks like it's going to be the aircraft of choice. Making a good amount of Samz, looks like he's alternating 2 at a time out. Or we've got the only Samz factory. Like this, and we like to see that the linked commands. Second refinery on the way. Barracuda has faced several. He knows how to deal with the tank run by. Going to clog up this flat terrain path with units. 4 helicopters going to be able to put a lot of damage onto these tanks. This does reveal the air tech to Samz. Now it looks like it looks like we're going to get some. There's potential for damage here. The tanks get by the infantry screen. Artillery far too slow to be useful as a screen. Not getting much in the way of micro here from Samz. Yeah, I think he's trying. Not able to work those tanks through there. A useful trick for kind of bending the path of a tank is you have your blue line down. If you put a point command out, they'll kind of like arc out to go towards that point command, and then you can delete the point command and to return them back to that path. But that's a good way to kind of like bend the tank path without having to redraw anything or having to pick up and fiddle with the command that you've already drawn. A little bit too close there with that line. Or maybe that pulled from over here. Just kind of pulled those units up. Sam's out of position to support this push attempt. Plenty of units coming out of Barracuda. I don't see this going anywhere, even without the helicopters. This isn't going to do much. Second airport, probably going to see interceptors. Third airport, okay. He's going crazy. Does he have? He has more energy back here. Has another energy well here. Could pick this up. Few territories make this worth. This could be a worthwhile shipyard, but with 3 airports, it's kind of. I think it would be hard to justify putting capital into an airfield. Second refinery for Barracuda. I don't know if I mentioned that already. Third energy well. Still building up farms. No, oh no, there is. I was about to say there's no anti-air on the field. But Barracuda just had his Samz back and hidden. I heard something get built. That's it. Port. And this is one of the kind of signature traits of Barracuda's plays. He's really he's an economic focused player, so he's gonna stay on top of building up these eco sites. Another port on the way. He's got an advantage here. He could actually, and he will be aggressive a little bit. What do we have? We just making helicopters? Looks like we've just got helicopters coming out for Samz. Another factory on the way. Let's see. 865, 1197 in favor of Barracuda. And Barracuda really isn't spending that much just yet. He's at plus 500. So plenty of room in this economy to add more production and really increase his combat power. Going to maneuver these helicopters up to support his northern push. There's no factory behind this for Samz. Actually, he doesn't even have his barracks routed this way anymore. So these units are completely cut off. It would behoove Sam to get some production up, either close to this push or get a line supporting it. And there we go. Decent line of support coming in. Farm on the way. How has he been doing on his economic development? Not a lot of sites here to develop. Has a town and a couple of farms not yet built. Farm here, and none of this stuff is captured yet. It's a good number of helicopters out here. Samz is able to smash this attack from Barracuda. And one thing about this map being so open is Samz are slow units. They have good range, but they're really slow. So both players kind of struggling a little bit to have their Samz in the correct spots to support their ground forces. I do expect to see Barracuda like activate an attack up here pretty soon. Shipyard and 2 towns. Okay. Again, Barracuda. He's a very economic focused player. And economy is like it. Having good economy, like having a strong economy and good macro, is like the simplest path to victory. So it makes you really resilient to attacks. It makes you just make more shit and take uneven trades. But Barracuda gonna push up, put an entrenchment up, just kind of walking these fortifications up and trading very efficiently here. Samz is going to mirror this helicopter movement from Barracuda, and because Barracuda's been engaging infantry with these helicopters, his helicopters are a bit beat up. So loses a couple in the kind of air-to-air helicopter scuffle. I don't think Samz sees this. No vision back here, so I'd be very shocked if it wasn't interceptors getting built at this airport. And this is pretty unfortunate for Samz, because each of these territories is going to be a 20 capital swing in Barracuda's favor. He's taking territories away. Still not building these sites up is Samz, and that's really going to hurt him. 957 to 1440. And notice he's at plus 600. There's a lot of room for Barracuda's production to get stronger, for his army to get stronger. Should be missile boats coming out of the shipyard, rocket as well. This is the big one that it's a big advantage that you get when you have a really strong economy, is the super expensive rockets become available. Yeah, he'll be able to crack this fortification. He'll be able to crack this defensive line very easily with that rocket. Both players getting interceptors on the field. Samz has his interceptor first. Not surprising considering he's got 3 airports. I want to see how many aircraft he still has. Because with 3 airports, energy becomes a concern. But he's been losing aircraft, so it's not like he's got 15 aircraft active on the field right now. Still, would be nice to see this 3rd energy well get taken. I like him setting up a kind of fallback position. Would like it better if it was just the artillery and you just push forward with the infantry, but you know, this is fine. Trying to get around the flank of this of Barracuda's defensive line, but still still engaging from the front with quite a bit of this force. So not quite what you want to do there, I think. The more common tactic is a bit stronger in this for this kind of use case, which is to blue line around and then down like the backside of the entrenchment. I think that tends to give players better results when they're attempting to flank it at an entrenched position. I think Barracuda, the way Barracuda had his entrenchment anchored on one flank by the water and by the forest on the other side, kind of it didn't force Sam to attack early, but it kind of pushed him into it. So rather than maybe he got a little impatient moving through the forest with that speed debuff. Ooh, Sam's launching an air sortie at targeting this port, or this port town. This will be a big target to take out. These missile boats, or this missile boat, takes quite a bit of the damage. It does fall, but it takes quite a bit of the damage from these aircraft and deals a lot of damage in return. Sam's also is aware of the rocket threat now. What a big push at the front by Barracuda. Has completely dismantled the front line for Samz. And this is what I was talking about before. Barracuda gonna blue line completely around this. No, Barracuda don't. Well, this is fine because these are infantry. I saw Barracuda do this in another match, and it cost him a chance at winning. So he sends the artillery straight in, and he sends the infantry around, which does it makes sense because it's not completely unreasonable because the infantry are going to be faster and they're able to attack and move at the same time, or the artillery has to set up. But I think a better way to do it, especially if you're trying to crack defensive lines with artillery in there, is you send the infantry. So like maybe set where if you have this 3-lane move, set the middle lane on the entrenchment. That way that there's infantry still taking shots from the artillery and you can get your artillery into range. I mean, I guess this probably works too, but I think generally what I see is what I see more is I think the infantry being used to kind of get your artillery into range. But yeah, Barracuda able to break that entrenchment with quite a bit of force, adding lots of production behind it. This rocket is still on the way, not being threatened. Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff going on. It's really popping off. These two forces are pretty similar. It looks like Samz actually has the advantage here. There is production pointed at this conflict, but it's kind of far away. Another shipyard. Good. He's getting starting to pull missile boats here. And there's not been a big buildup of aircraft from Samz. Bringing this infantry back in now. I don't know how long they were sitting up here, but I feel like there was quite a bit of idle time on this infantry. Still hasn't built this town either. It's in 1,030 income per minute, and it has a city site that he hasn't built. So really hurting for capital now. Plus 63, plus 49 into the red. This is yeah, Samz is completely tapped out. It's not like he has a big standing army either. Just all this production. He doesn't have enough capital to run this production. Looks like Barracuda lost. Yeah, the air support from Samz was able to kind of stop this push. Barracuda still did break the containment here. So, and with this much production behind it, I don't see Samz being able to stop it. Yeah, now Barracuda has Samz in the forest. These helicopters aren't even going to be able to see those. Alright, Barracuda pushes forward and entrenches. He takes a handful of territories away, pushes the front line back a little bit, but he doesn't need to be super aggressive here because he has a rocket. It's on the stand, ready to go. Just needs to decide where to shoot it. He could break the front, he could go after the production back here. He hasn't seen very much of it, surprisingly. I saw an interceptor fly over here. Kind of surprised that he wasn't able to spot more of the production in here. Got a barracks up in the southwest. Helicopters making their way over. Looks like Samz did win the infantry fight, but there's just so much more production. Such a powerful economic engine behind Barracuda's army. Now this is a pretty powerful SAM position. It's getting to the point where Barracuda would need to be careful about where he puts his rocket if he went for it. Prepping up an amphibious assault as well. Does get scouted by Samz. Since his helicopters in, they are going to get shredded by this anti-air cover. One missile boat goes down, and that's it. They didn't even get that first landing ship that they attacked. Yeah. Missile boats are not to be fucked with. And then we're even Samz firing from the shore. Oh, Samz actually is actually able to gain the advantage at the front. So this is going to start pushing back against Barracuda. But Barracuda does have the rocket. Sitting in reserve, has a city built up, 2 cities. Does he have this city built? No. Still working on it. Farms are built. I think that's all the farms. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, doesn't have this farm built yet. Another wood farm to build, and then he'll be able to build that. 320. I wonder why he's not firing the rocket, though. Did Barracuda forget that he has a rocket? Or does he just not want to use the rocket? Which I can totally respect. Oh, here we go. Looks like it's headed for the army. No, going north. Oh, we're gonna break this line. Okay. Don't fly over the Samz. We're gonna land on the Samz. Those are dead Samz. Good to go. That's gonna give him room to use these strikers and helicopters that he's got. The fight in the center is getting a bit scrappy. And so Barracuda really hasn't built up too much here in the center. Adds another factory. Looks like this is going to be the main effort. Several transport ships ready. 3, I think, is enough. Really would like to see him activate this attack here. What are we looking at? And Sam's struggling for economy. Never did get this town up, or this farm. Which, they're not a lot of extra capital, but he needs every bit of capital he can get. He's losing territories right now. Striker sortie gets completely swatted. shut down. Here we go. Here we go. I don't like the single lane command. Like, you've got 4 ships. You can drop 16 infantry like all at once. It'd be a lot stronger, especially with how finicky the landing ships are. Like, look how long it's taking this to go. Still bringing up the missile boats to provide air cover. Air defense, rather. Yeah, very powerful attack. And it's got 3 barracks supporting it, so it's gonna be real tough for Samz to actually deal with this. It's something he has to take very seriously. No order, no commands on the infantry though. There we go. There we go. Now we've got our boys moving. I'm surprised he didn't push harder in the north. He's got a huge economic lead, so maybe he just hasn't accurately assessed Sam's economic state, or their relative economic states. But the discrepancy between their economies and between their production potential, Barracuda can really just 5-lane all go and just cover the map in attack commands and really disregard the how bad his trades are. But Sam's gonna GG out. That was the expected outcome. I definitely think Barracuda was favored in that match. We did see some cool things from Samz. I'm looking forward to seeing how his other games go. I think there is something there. I just think when Samz went for the 3-factory tank and didn't attack, I think that was a big mistake, not getting his energy soon after getting the 3 factories. That was a pretty costly mistake, and then not recognizing that Barracuda had the potential to go for a 3-town start and applying pressure. I think those are really what cost him the game. Not developing that town and getting the farm and getting his city up, that certainly didn't help things, but I think those are kind of minor compared to not playing to the strength of his opening and the strength and the potential weakness of his opponent's position. But yeah, that is the first game from this group. Which group was this? I don't remember. Can I switch? That was Group D. Okay. Anyway, that is that game done.